Benjamin Netanyahu trial. Israel PM made illegitimate use of power.
Here's a summary of the article.
Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial is to resume, with the court in Jerusalem overseeing it due to hear evidence for the first time. Mr. Netanyahu, 71, is accused of bribery, fraud and breach of trust in connection with 3 separate cases. The election failed to end the deadlock that has plagued Israeli politics for the last 2 years, with Mr. Netanyahu's right-wing bloc and the parties opposed to him both currently short of a majority in parliament. Case 2000 Fraud and breach of trust. Mr. Netanyahu is accused of offering to help improve the circulation of Israeli newspaper Yediot Aharonot in exchange for positive coverage. Case 4000 Bribery, fraud and breach of trust. As PM and Minister of Communications at the time of the alleged offense, Mr. Netanyahu is accused of promoting regulatory decisions favorable to the controlling shareholder in the Bezeq telecom giant, Shaul Elovitch, in exchange for positive coverage by Mr. Elovich's Walla news site. The evidentiary stage of the trial will see witnesses testifying before the 3-judge panel, including a number of former aides to Mr. Netanyahu, for 3 days every week. A former Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, stepped down as his party's leader when he was under investigation for corruption in 2008 but technically remained in office until elections the following year, polls which brought Benjamin Netanyahu to power.
This post received a score of 3,600, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Repeatedly, and with gusto, face with rolling eyes.
Just another right-wing piece of shit who's above the law. Not precisely true. Israel already sent one of its PM to the prison. Nobody is above the law in a democracy.
Difference was that Olmert chose to quit being prime minister and deal with his legal issues, eventually going to jail afterwards. Not only did Bibi not quit, he also mocks the justice system and the police, basically saying, everybody who is against me is corrupt, and a lot of people believe him, which is scary. I don't even care if he is guilty or not. Acting the way he does is irresponsible and dangerous to democracy, and for that I hope he gets replaced soon.
History will remember this as pulling a Trump.
History doesn't remember anything unless the present does something about it.
About time. Why? Could you explain? Edit. Read the article, but politics is a complex subject, so if anyone has additional info on the cause of such animosity is well welcomed.
This leader turns one part of the population against the other, is a compulsive liar, is an obstacle for peace between Israel and Palestine, mocks people injured in wars, and is corrupt to the bone. And let's not forget his part in inciting against Yitzhak Rabin, which culminated in his assassination. Probably left out a bunch of reasons, but I think it's good enough.
He is a cancer to our country. A total leech with his psycho wife.
This dude will literally stay PM until the statute of limitations ends for all his crimes, isn't he? He has committed so many crimes, but voters still vote for him and his shitty party. What a sad state of affairs. Also, both Democrats and Republicans give billions in aid from U.S. taxpayer money to the State of Israel, which is run by a criminal. I'm sure all that money is fully accounted for.
This isn't how the law works in almost any country, let alone Israel. This is a much lower number than voted, for example, for Trump, because Israel has so many options. This doesn't mean he's good, but it gave him a lot of ammunition for the campaign. There is no indication that the aid to Israel, which is spent entirely on U.S. companies and jobs, is similarly misused.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.